Hey, everybody, we're back with another movie review with Francisco, Bill, and Roy. And I fucked up because Bill is from Q, Bill.
Disma.
And
And
Roy,
the
you are
road.
from.
Necroharmonic.com. Buy shit.
Yes. And Francisco's been on my channel before. I think everybody kind of is aware of Francisco and jamming out all badass and his new band coming, ETD.
There you
Yes,
And
that's the banner.
Fraser.com.
go.
Yeah, Fraser Promotion Service. We should. I should have had him on too. That would.
Oh, that would have been perfect.
Oh,
You might
yeah,
not want to.
yeah. Or I may not be able to air it because
You can do
Fraser.
you can do a Days of Our Lives episode with Rick.
Keep me all posted on the season. Okay, so what we're talking about tonight is the Warriors. I believe it's an early 1980s street gang movie on.
79, I believe.
Is it 79? It was before
Yeah,
80?
79.
Okay, so damn, it's even earlier.
Yeah.
1979, New York City street gang from Coney Island. The movie premise is they have to go to a big gang summit in Brooklyn, and all the gangs in the city are all meeting up here to see what this guy Cyrus has to say, the leader of the Gramercy Riffs, supposedly in the movie the biggest gang in New York City. So the movie starts off with everybody kind of gathering the troops on the Warriors End. Now, also, it has a great soundtrack.
9
too.
members of each gang
Oh, yes. Thank you.
with
9
no
members.
weapons.
Supposed to be no weapons there. Supposed to be
Yeah.
a summit, they're trying to fucking have a meeting, not a bunch of violence. So the movie starts off with the guys all talking about going to the summit. And but you got Ajax is the muscle, right? Swan is the war chief, and I know we got that one guy, Cowboy, and Rembrandt, and all these other guys. They all kind of play a role on the mission to New York City. And like one of my favorite lines is, "What do you know about Cyrus? Magic, a whole lot of magic."
Oh yeah.
And of course, Ajax is talking, and they ask him what what you got, what you think. All he's thinking about is getting ass and fighting. And that's Ajax's kind of way in the movie. Ajax is awesome. So
Yeah.
the movie kind of starts off with that. They're fucking talking about going, and then next the music kicks in, and you got the great scene of Coney Island too with the Ferris wheel.
Yeah. And the
Yeah, it's like the
music, too.
first like the
That's-
first shot, right?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so. And
The music is kind of cool too because it kind of is like Dawn of the Dead music almost.
Yeah. it's
Yeah.
zombie music.
Yeah, it sounds like Goblin or something. It's kind of like
it's kind of grim. Yeah, it's grim music, and you got all then it cuts to all the different gangs heading in. You're seeing all the different gangs hitting on the subways or whatever the fuck, going to the. So how does that, since you guys are East Coast, what do you think of all that, and what does that remind you of anything in your life that
Like,
you
I
did
think-
back in the day?
Yeah, in the 70s they had that, you know what I mean? They had these spots like in the Bronx where they had like gangs, and they were dressed up like the early like hip hop bands like Sugar Hill or something, you know what I mean?
Wow.
So, but also biker gangs, etc. New Jersey, I don't know, not so much, right, Venner? What do you think?
There was a couple like in our town, we had 2 fraternities that were kind of gangs. They were high school fraternities, like college.
Mhm.
Jeez.
Theta Phi and Lambda Tau, and they were like street gang because they were like metalheads. Like at least Lambda Tau, Lambda Tau more than Theta Phi was, I would say.
Right.
They had some jocks, metalheads, and they would fight with everybody, But like what Roy said, like in the 70s, that documentary, 80 Blocks from Tiffany's, is like perfect example of warriors. Like
Real life.
you see, like gang life, like different gangs dressing up. So you can that's on YouTube. You can watch that movie.
I dogged for Lime Battelle.
So it's safe to say the movie wasn't totally just pulling it out of their ass. They kind of did a little
I mean,
research.
maybe the amount of, gangs.
gangs and dressing up.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there was, I guess jackets, but not like costumes. You would say. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because one thing I noticed, because I was able to watch the majority of it here a while ago, and some of the like costumes, some of the ones that kind of stood out when they're like introducing all the gangs, how they're getting on the subway and all that. One gang looked like a bunch of pimps.
Yep.
And the other one was the mimes. I'm like, who the fuck? What kind of gang is going to dress up as mimes?
I don't know how that's strike fear into the heart.
You know what I
of
mean? Well, that's the thing. None of them.
Or on roller skates.
None of them look tough. None of the gangs look fucking tough in this movie. The Warriors, the only ones that kind of look kind of tough, but they were all kind of. It's funny because is it Ajax, the one that keeps calling everybody fucking wimps all the time?
Yeah, that's Ajax.
The movie or whatever.
Yeah.
And another thing, and I'll stop. But another thing I noticed was these are all gangs, right? They're supposed to be fucking tough guys, street guys, or whatever. But did you notice how they all paid their fucking subway fare before getting on the subway? What kind of the fuck is that? I was like, well, what the fuck? What you think that'd be the ones that would just jump over, the turnstile or whatever? But no,
they do later. But I mean,
sometimes one guy's like putting in all the quarters for everybody.
They're still being responsible.
He's on the token.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
Token man.
Skated over to the token booth with his mime uniform on.
Avoid attention. They were all kind of trying to join the meeting place without the cops following them. So,
yeah, I guess so.
At that point, it's like an untold part of the script.
Maybe that is part of it. Like, hey, they're not going to have any heat.
A low profile, not cause any trouble.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No
hilarious.
Like, where are they going? Those troublemakers, So
yeah.
I mean, that's kind of raised some eyebrows. Like, all the gangs is kind of traveling somewhere.
Moving through the city, yeah. Especially they're spray painting on the way there.
Yeah, tagging everything along the way.
But I said, even at that time, the cops weren't as crazy as they would be today. It's kind of just the law of the jungle. Unless you're actually shooting somebody, it takes a few bullets before they start fucking reacting.
Yeah. They're probably maybe just well, fuck it. They're not doing nothing right now. Whatever.
It's not like in this neighborhood. If somebody came through the neighborhood right here with a fucking gang and started, the whole neighborhood would be reacting. Over in New York, there's freaks everywhere. So it's just blinders on. You don't even notice it. It's normal, So it kind of goes with it.
Right on. So we'll jump ahead to where they actually meet up at the gang summit. And you got all the gangs, I guess, in this park somewhere in Brooklyn, all hanging out.
Bronx, I think.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I keep saying, the Bronx, all hanging out in some park area, whatever. And then everybody's talking, and then bam, Cyrus starts talking from his podium up there, and everybody gets quiet. And Cyrus is basically giving his speech on all the gangs working together or coming together to run New York City. And saying there's more members in gangs than there are in the police departments, and they're going to take, they control every inch of the city if they work together. And of course, everybody starts getting hyped up, and we're, again,
like a Slayer show.
Yeah, like a Slayer show. It's like everybody's getting all crazy. You wait for a pit to break out or something. He keeps on talking, and as this is happening, they cut to a scene of a gun being passed through the hands of these guys, and next thing you know, the leader of this gang shoots Cyrus.
The Rogues, right?
The Rogues, damn, what era? They look like a fucking one era of Judas Priest, man. Heading out to the highway or something.
Yeah, early 80s.
That band Flames. If you ever see that band Flames, it's around the back. It's totally them.
Is it the Rogues? They
the guy has a little leather cap on and stuff.
Yeah, so it looks like the late 80s, late 70s, early 80s, Judas Priest or something. So anyway, shoots Cyrus fucking dies, basically falls off the thing, and the guy shoots him. He starts saying, he sees the Warrior guy saying they're kind of by the situation. He's the Warriors did it. What's the Warriors? The Warriors did it. And he's like a nut kind of, and he runs after, and it's the leader of the Warriors on this mission. Was it Leon? I may have it wrong. I'm not sure. But anyway, he fucking takes that dude out quick, just kind of throws him to the side, and the rest of the Rogues come one by one, and he's kind of kicking their ass as they're coming by. But then the Riffs, who are Cyrus's gang, jump into the fray with their kung fu's all 70s style too, and start chop 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 chop. And,
Yeah.
They're like elbowing them in a circle on top of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
the camera kind of just goes up, and you see them all just doing all their shit to the. They're like, well, Leon's war chief's out of the picture. Basically, he's out. That's it. He's history. But he had told the guys, I believe, earlier to run against the crowd to get out, because of course everybody's scrambling. We forgot to mention the cops show up kind of minutes after Leon's shot.
Yeah.
So the cops are busting this gang summit, and they're just coming in, with the lights fucking blaring on them.
Yeah, and they avert the warrior guy getting
That's
shot.
right. Because that's probably why he said the warriors later, because the one he saw the warrior guy that saw him shoot him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the lights came on, and then that blinded him because he was going to shoot him too. That's right.
Yep.
That's why I always like to have people on here, because I forget half the shit. Thank you, Lord. So the warriors are running against the crowd, and they kind of meet up and like break through this fence to go out. I guess the back door of the place, and they get out. So they're not that everybody thinks they're the ones who shot Cyrus. That's what the word's starting to get spread, right? Because they're in that, they end up in a cemetery talking about it. That's where Ajax starts to flex on Swan, because Swan's supposed to be the next in line.
Yeah.
And Swan starts start calling the shots, and Ajax is like, hey, I got a question. Who put you in charge, or something like that?
Who made you war chief?
Yeah.
Ajax was always flexing through the whole thing.
Oh, he loves the flex, dude.
And that's what gets him in trouble, but we'll get to that.
We will get to it. But it has that awesome shot of like kind of just panning by each guy, like telling them that like, Swan's word chief, he's in charge, he's next. It's kind of cool, and I guess he just kind of chills because everybody's like, nah.
They're all sweaty and shit. They're like really fucking sweaty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie looked like it was filmed in the summer or something, late summer, because it's hot. Everybody's sweaty through the whole movie. Remember, they even get rained on.
Yeah.
And he was saying, I bet you can't even find us a train station in the one. What is that, Rembrandt? The one with he's like kind of their like guy that they send out to look ahead or whatever.
Like I say, we took the path. That's easy. One road, it's one track, L-shaped. Like he was even confused. Like, oh shit, this is confusing. This map.
Yeah.
Subway is like a whole other animal, and
it's like a spider web of like different colors and fucking time changes and schedules. It's like people wind up in hell.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's not as like it's not as clean either. It's kind of like more like low and dirt and like it's
graffiti all over it.
Yeah.
And like for someone like me who lives somewhere, there's no trains or anything. Are trains like coded by like that by colors and all that? And know which,
or little signs on top of it that'll say like going to
or they're like numbered.
Or sometimes they have a conductor. Or or something will come over like a loudspeaker, and it'll say like blankety blank, going stop over here or whatever. I don't think that really happens in the subways, but maybe that's more in the path.
Because I remember I was in Chicago one time, and we were going to take a train into another part of the city, and I was like, nah, I have no fucking idea. I'm just calling an Uber, and we went that way because who knows where we would.
There was no Ubers because we couldn't take taxis. They had yellow taxis, but like if you wanted to take a yellow taxi, well, maybe back like, me and Venner used to maybe go on those subways to go to the, metal shows at like in Brooklyn, Lemoore or whatever. So, yeah.
Didn't you say too? It kind of looked like going to a concert back in the day. Everybody just fucking getting on the train.
Yeah.
As a gang, we go on the train and all wearing leather with our, not a gang, but like, leather painted on fucking logos.
The logos and everything.
Metallica shirts.
So to the average person, we were a gang because this was before the internet. Like 8 guys, you're like, and you didn't know about a show in Brooklyn. You'd be like, that's a gang. Where people thought we were a gang, like
it's like
kind of somewhat looking like the.
They're like, oh shit! Look out for those warriors over there. Yeah. Cyrus.
Because we'd be rowdy. We'd have like liquor in our hands, like brown bag bottles. Because you kind of could walk through the city with liquor. No one would
Right.
really bust your balls. So it
Yeah.
was kind of a lawless. Like you talk about the Wild West, it was like in the city like
You had a
that.
brown bag it though. You had to
Yeah.
like put your beer inside like a baggie, and then you could walk around with
But
it.
you were good to go if you did that. No
Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking drink.
Just a bunch of crazy kids going to Lemoore.
Lemoore.
Yeah.
But then trying to find your way home, like you knew how to get there. Then when you got out of there, usually those shows, the sun would be up when you came out.
Yeah.
And the
So-
train line,
Oh.
the schedule would change
And
too.
everything's changed. Like that
Shit.
train you came in doesn't come back till 6 o'clock at night going back. So it's like,
Mm.
oh, you got to go down this block and you got to ask directions.
Yeah.
And the last
And
thing
you
you
had
want to be is someone asking directions in the city because that's just you're
Ah.
just fucking asking for trouble.
Yeah,
That's
somebody's
the road
just
apple.
gonna
Some
sing
out of towners we can fucking mug real easy.
We
Yeah,
could definitely relate to the Warriors because of the whole like train system thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were definitely out of their neck of the woods. They were,
Yeah.
Well, we
50
we
miles
were out of
away.
our neck of the woods even using it, right, Venner? Because we were
Yeah.
from New
But,
Jersey.
and you know what the funny thing is? Like you look on a map, it's literally like 5 miles away. It's just all this metal and street is in the way. It's like it's all these neighborhoods in the way. But if you had a straight line, it'd be a half-hour drive in a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
20
funny.
minutes.
Fucking adventure, basically.
Yeah, it literally is. It's like going on an adventure, going into the city. Like even today, even though it's like mass transit, there's boats you can take over, little fucking air scooters, like everything. There's cable cars that go across.
And it's still not enough.
It's still not enough, but
Yeah.
back
Have you ever,
the subway? That was it.
one time, I mean, this is my silly experience. We were in Jersey, and I didn't know because I don't fucking know what this shit. And I just hear a subway go above us. I didn't even know it was a subway track. And the first thing I thought in my mind was, that reminds me of the Warriors. Just seeing a subway out of nowhere. So anyway, they're trying to get on this subway. So it cuts to a montage of them, like I guess traveling and doing shit. I'm trying to remember if this is right. And they also are trying to avoid the cops. And remember, they show the cops and the paddy wagons all going, and so all type of bullshit's going on for these guys. And the next thing it shows them waiting to take a train, and they're like, "Well, why are we fucking waiting around here?" And they're like, "Well, do you want to stand around up there and get bopped or what? Racked?" I think that's what they say, right? When they busted or beat up, racked, and then. And I think it was freaking Ajax. Well, there's no one fucking around, and then he goes, "Oh yeah, look!" And then you see the turnball ACs coming. Those are like the skinhead gang.
Yeah.
I think to me that the whole movie, that's the scariest looking gang.
That's the
Turnball
gang.
AC.
Yeah, that's the real gang.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that was
They got the orphans too, but they were like not a real gang, right? They were like the low men.
Yeah, they were the minor leagues, as that lady called them.
Yeah, they took the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took the girl from them. So how tough are they, right?
Well, the fucking
They
orphans.
fucking biff.
They outrun the turnball ACs. Remember, they start running.
Yeah.
And they're chasing them in their old beat up school bus.
Well,
remember-
yeah.
And
Looks like
Ajax
road-
turns to give
road
that guy the
warriors.
finger, and that guy swings with the 2x4 right above him.
Well,
Yeah, cracks it.
Well, here's, and this isn't the only movie where that happens, but they're fucking running in the middle of the road. You're trying to tell me a fucking vehicle can't catch up to these guys while they're fucking running? You know what I mean? It's like, obviously, it's a movie or whatnot. But yeah, it's like,
that vehicle,
come on, man.
I don't know if it went over 20 miles an hour, but still, yeah.
Well, when someone's being chased by something, just run to the fucking side.
Yeah, you're like right in the middle of the road.
The alleyways.
Those
I
guys
guess
could
it
easily
makes for a
just ran
dramatic
over.
shot.
No, yeah, it's a cool shot, but it's like, yeah, come on, man. One other thing I found cool. You guys mentioned the tagging or whatever, but real metal. Speaking of metal, real metal moments when they're in that fucking cemetery, like, and they're like taking off, and the dude puts the W like on the fucking headstone or whatever. I'm like, total fucking desecrating graves. And shit.
Yeah, and even if you look, there's other tags on there.
Yeah, it's cool.
Everybody's hitting
It's
that
cool.
fucking-
I was like, man, they're over there taking band photos and shit, at the cemetery.
Yeah,
There's really
79. like
There's some-
sarcophago.
Yeah, exactly.
There's some cool cemeteries in New York. What's that? Calvary Cemetery. It's up by where they would northern New York City. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
awesome. It's just like
Oh, and
Cool
speaking of that cemetery too, the cinema, I always fuck that word up. Cinematography of that whole scene of the cemetery, it's fucking badass, man.
yeah.
You get some
Yeah.
good shots, good shit. So anyway, they outrun these guys and they hop on a subway train and they fucking take off and they're all laughing at them and the turnbow ICs are all pissed off because they got away.
Yeah.
So the Warriors are on their way. They have like maybe one more stop or something. I don't remember for sure, but they think they're homebound.
And then the
much.
girl's on the radio though.
Yeah.
Alert.
Yeah, she's like giving a play-by-play, like updates and shit of their escape.
Their
Yeah.
movement.
She's basically like the voice of the gangs or something from the radio. Yeah, she's saying the turnball ECs dropped the ball. The Warriors got away, and of course
Yeah.
you keep getting those cool scenes too of them. The riffs every time something happens, the guy talks into the leader. I guess the new leaders there. Tells them, turnball ECs dropped the ball. They got away. So anyway, they're on the train, and then the train stops, and there's a fire. Apparently, someone set a fire to derail the train. So now they got to get off the train. They got to start walking and trying to, I guess, catch another train somewhere else or do whatever they do.
Yeah, so when they're that's weird. That's a weird spot. It's because, all right, how are we going to get them off the train now? I'm thinking like the rider. What can we do to get them off the train? Because you're like, well, they could just take the train all the way home, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they're like, all right, well, let's fucking start a fire and that'll make them. To me, that's kind of what their thought process was. How
in New York, these things happen for some reason. Like you do get derailed. Everybody get offloaded, and now we're gonna switch trains.
Or a bum will fall into the tracks and they have to shut the whole system
Oh
down.
shit!
Yeah,
that must be a clusterfuck when that happens.
That sucks.
Wow. So anyway,
someone gets thrown into the track.
They showed these guys walking, right?
Yeah.
They're walking and they're looking up, and they're getting spotted by another gang, and this gang calls themselves the Orphans. And I guess like half of them don't even know they exist because they have to explain to Swan like they're low on the gang level. They're not big league gang. I guess what they call minor league gang.
Minor league. That's what that lady called them, man.
Yeah. So they keep walking and it cuts to like the next scene. The Orphans are kind of just standing there waiting for them. And oh God, what is the name of the actors? Does anybody remember the leader of the Orphans? Because he's from those 80s.
Yeah, he was in several movies. I can't remember his name.
And he has a black eye, right, or something already, because it's all fucking. It looks like one eye is like shut, and like he's fucking. That's one thing they did great in this movie. They made everybody look trashy, like everybody looks red,
like post-apocalypse.
Yeah, it's almost like a Mad
They look
Max,
like
man.
real New Yorkers.
And so this leader of the Orphans says, like, hey, what the fuck? He's gonna walk through our neighborhood, and with no permits, no parlay.
Paul Greco is the guy's name.
There you go.
No parlay.
No parlay.
He's orphan number one. He does it. That's his
title.
Get a name.
Yeah.
So Swan and I guess his right hand man go over to talk with him, like say, hey, we're just passing through. We're not looking for trouble. And they kind of come to agreement. And like, okay, if you're just going through, no trouble. But that's when who shows up.
Mercy.
Yeah. Doing a she's already fucking stirring the pot, man. And the leader's like, you're just gonna let. Well, no, she's like, well, you're just gonna let any gang walk through here, Yeah. And she's like, shut your trap, Marcy, if you know what's good for you. And she's just talking shit to them, like yeah. That shirt's tight, dude. It's sweaty.
Tight.
Her nips are blasting through it. It's just like, okay. What she's like, oh well, give me a vest, and you can get another one, and they're like, not happening,
Yeah,
we're not giving.
Never gonna happen.
Never.
And that's when she starts stirring the pot again more with the leader, it basically makes them fucking say, hey, you want to go through, you got to take off your colors. I guess means remove your vest. And they're like,
Yeah.
no, and basically tells them fuck you, and they walk off. Right? I
Yeah.
think that's basically what happens. And they know the shit's going to go down because all the memory snaps his finger, and they all go inside to get all, I guess, ready for war. So
Yep.
Marcy follows them, or right? Gets caught up with them around the corner or something.
Yeah, they run into her.
Yeah, and it's Ajax.
Yeah.
Already on her like Frasier on a first date with somebody.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking with you, Frasier. Don't get mad at me.
Like a Frasier in the woman's shoe department.
So, and there, he's ready to like pretty much rape this poor chick, and Swan's like, cut your shit, and he goes over to her. Right. Forgets what he says, but he says like, she got the attitude, and even in that situation, she's still giving him attitude. And he's like, real tough trick, huh? He goes, maybe we should run a train on you.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like smiling and laughing, and she's like, kind of like, oh fuck. But that's when pretty much the orphans show up again with their. You know what I fucking forgot to say, because I wanted to say this. Remember when they were kind of Swan and the leader were talking of the orphans, and he was like, never heard of you or something, and he's like, and the guy comes up with the newspaper like ready.
Oh yeah, he had a headline.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, look at this. And then the guy was like, the one guy from the Warriors, like, oh, the orphans, yeah, you're a heavy crew, I heard of you. Like,
yeah.
And he says that line, he goes, my social worker, my social worker told me about you guys, and that guy goes, we don't got one.
Yeah.
That shit always cracked me up.
You don't got that shit.
The orphans were so I guess unimportant that they didn't know anything about the meeting,
Right.
Yeah, that's right, because that does come up in conversation. Like, what's a meeting without the orphans? It's like, they're like, well, they're just trying to fucking get out of the situation. I forget everything. So cutting back to that scene with Marcy, the orphans are like, see what you get, warriors, see what you get. And that one guy, we're gonna rain on you, warriors. And they have the Molotov cocktail ready.
Mm.
And then they throw it at the car next to them. Yeah. And it catches on fire real quick. And that kind of gives them, like, I guess, their split second to make a run for it. And he's like, now. And they start running by. And the next thing you know, as the orphans, I guess, we're going to chase after, and the fucking car just blows up. Yeah. And they run all the way to the subway station. And then they get into the subway, and they're like, why are we running? Why are we still running? And they look, and then, like, Ajax, I told you they were wimps, because they never even chased them. They let them get away with it. So I believe, is this where they're like they're waiting at the station and for
they want to meet at Union Square?
Like
that's the whole thing.
In the beginning, and
they're
a spot.
They're waiting on a subway, and they're I guess waiting for trains or whatever, and they hear the footsteps. It's pretty much dead there, and then they look, and it's a fucking cop. And
it's funny because you hear like footsteps of like one person, but it ends up being like 6 cops or whatever.
Yeah. So they gotta fucking start running because the cops are fucking chasing their ass now. And I thought what I like, man, is when that one scene where they're running up the stairs and Ajax does that back kick on that cop.
Oh yeah,
the stairs is fucking takes them out, man.
Takes them out,
yeah. And then Marcy and I guess Swan's main guy go their own way. Remember that?
Yeah, that's why they split up.
Yeah, that one cop tackles him, and they're rolling on the ground fighting, and he's telling her, fucking just run.
Yeah.
But as they're fighting, the cop throws him onto an incoming train.
Yeah.
And he's obviously he's dead. That's the end of him. So they the warriors have to get separated, what, like, I guess maybe like 4 or 5, well, would make that 7 now. So, they get split in half. They go this way, they go that way. And that's when Swan and his crew run out the stairs. They think they're safe,
Yep.
and they look up into the street, and it's the baseball furies
Yep.
swinging their bats. That's a cool scene too. Like they're just fucking knowing they're going to be there somehow, just waiting for them. So they
and they're like the weirdest characters in the whole fucking movie, right?
Yeah,
The
I
baseball
would
furies.
say they're silent, and they wear baseball suits, but they got this
black
makeup
metal
on.
Painted faces.
Yeah.
Kind of some of them kind of looking black metal. Which,
baseball.
Baseball furies, and I guess that's their thing. So they start running, and they're chasing them again.
Oh, hey, something about that chase. That the song that's going on during that chase rules, man. I don't know what that song is, but that song is so badass during when the Furies are chasing them. I need to find out what that is.
All that post-apocalyptic music like fit in and help the
it really added atmosphere.
The chase scenes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about with the baseball fury? He like nailed them down, and he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna stick that bat up your ass, like
up your ass.
Stick.
Make a popsicle
like
out
a
of
popsicle." And I can't say it because we'll probably get tagged, but drops the F-bomb word all the time.
Over and over, several times.
Yeah, and he's like, remember, because he's like, I'm tired of running from these. But he just loves saying it.
Yeah, he says that several times. What are you turning into
Yeah, even in the movie, because he's like, you got a one-track mind, Ajax. You turn it into it.
Yeah.
So remember, as they're running, Swan and one other guy kind of cut out of the chase so they can get behind them. And then they start chasing behind these baseball furies, and remember, he's like, hey, and then one turns around and swings, and Swan does that thing or whatever, it takes him out, and now he has a bat. And around this time, right, is when Ajax and his guy are like, I'm tired of running, let's fight. And they start fighting, and that's when he says, I'm gonna stick that bat up your ass like a popsicle or something.
Make you a popsicle.
Yeah. And that's
I wonder if you meant like those little baseball. Remember in the lunch in the trucks when you were little, they had like that one ice cream where it was like a baseball.
Yeah. I remember that.
This turns out to be a pretty cool little brutal fight scene.
Finally you get like actual fight. Yeah,
you're getting a street gang fight, and they're just beating the crap out of each other with baseballs and punches. It's a good fight. I thought the baseball furies did all right, but they're going to lose in the end.
There's one fury, like towards the end of the fight scene. He's kind of a bigger guy. He's like walking up to him like an old man carrying a bat or whatever. I'm like, that dude's not tough at all, man. So it's no reason. I mean,
remember too, they're kind of showing off with the bats, like whoosh, swinging and all this stuff, like
choreographed moves and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So let me ask you guys: would it be like that after shows? Would the streets just be kind of like in some parts is dead, and then like bad shit could happen like in the snap of a finger and all that? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, definitely. Like,
because a lot of the venues were like in like areas where there was just factories or like no houses around, so all that shit shuts down. Some of it, and you'll be walking on streets where it's just like vagrants in the middle.
Or like there could be that area where you go and there's like just all these younger kids on like porches. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then like they come off and they come at you. Yeah. They're gonna either try to take your wallet or, you know what I mean? They want to fight you,
Jeez.
Yeah, so it depends. Like if you're with a group of like 4 or 5 people, usually you don't get fucked.
Yeah, they don't fuck with you then.
But if
you're
like
by yourself,
like you might get someone follow you.
Yeah,
that type of
stuff.
But
it's like in the beginning when you first went, you notice this more. Like as the more you went, like this is all going on, and you're just walking like you don't care. When you have that attitude, people don't really fuck with you. Like,
you got your fucking Warriors fucking jacket on. It's like a Half Hells Angels fucking logo on the back.
It's the morticians. What
the fuck, man? Well, that's another thing.
NYDM.
There's a lot of it's pretty dead out there in this movie. Every now and then you get like random people like coming on the screen or whatever. But I mean, New York is, usually more people are out at that time.
Yeah. Well, that's why I thought, I was like, this is like one of the biggest cities in the world, and it's like, is the crime so bad that that's what they're trying to imply? The streets are just dead at night. Like no one wants to be out in that shit.
Not really.
Well, Manhattan definitely more where there's like the 24-hour entertainment, but there are like neighborhoods like I would imagine the Bronx and like Brooklyn where it's dead. There's nobody out. It's like a ghost town.
Or it's like a very active, like Brownsville.
Yeah.
So it depends. Like that's like a gang, maybe nowadays, or even like in Mike Tyson's time, like that time, like there was like gangs running on the streets, snatching chains and shit.
I thought it's funny because in some scenes there's like nobody there, but the fucking guy selling the newspapers is at work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that because remember the Rogues? There's a scene around this time in the movie where the Rogues just pull up to this random little convenience store.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the guy, leader of that group of the Rogues, gets on the phone. And they make him look like a perfect like this drugged out heroin type of guy. His eyes are all
scumbag.
Yeah. He's like, I heard the Warriors, shot that guy and it's fucked up. And he's just lying. Remember now Zach's going on, the one Rogues is like throwing whatever, chips and food, or I don't know, lighters to all the members, and the girl fucking says, hey, what about the money?
Yeah, she's brave.
I was like,
very brave.
All these fucking the middle of nowhere, or at night, and that guy's all, what money? And he throws shit back at her.
Yeah, she was super brave.
Like crazy, man.
Or stupid, one of the two.
Well, yeah, one of the two. So getting back to the Warriors, they beat up the fucking Furies, right?
Yeah.
And they're walking. Lo and behold, there's just this random chick sitting on a park bench.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, Ajax.
No trouble there.
Yeah, that doesn't look like a setup, in the middle
of not at all.
And so Ajax is like, of course, with his one-track mind, he's like thinking, all right. And he tells the guys like, hey, I'm gonna go fucking get some action. So he fucking goes back to this chick sitting on the bench, right? And the other guys are like, whatever, and they keep going. And she, she's being a kind of receptive, and of course he starts being Fraser on the first date, going just too hard again on her, and she's like, hey, take it easy. Fraser gonna be so mad at me. Take it easy, and she's like, come on, baby, you fucking want it and whatever. And next thing you know, she fucking handcuffs him to the bench and starts blowing a whistle. She's a cop, undercover cop.
Yeah.
And of course, just and dude, one of the cops.
Meanwhile, you just had like 20,000 gang members all hanging around the park, but she just happens to be in a park nearby. Just like, it's a random thing,
That's probably why Ajax wasn't put in charge. He was not making the best decisions.
Yeah, he didn't make the best decisions.
So, these two other cops show up. He's chained to the fucking thing, swinging at him, punches one.
Takes the one out, yeah.
Yeah, and the other one, he's another guy who comes out in a lot of these movies. He has that fucking face, man.
Yeah, it's a weird looking face.
Yeah,
if
you see him, you're like, I've seen that fucking guy in movies too. He fucking pretty much takes care of Ajax, and that's the end of Ajax in the movie.
Yeah,
because remember the two lawyers were going to go back to, hey man, we need to check on him. And they walk back and they see the cops there.
Yeah,
like,
they look through the bushes.
Yeah, they're like, oh well, he's fucked. We gotta keep moving. Now, maybe we can remember. Help me. What happens from here? I think I kind of got lost.
Yeah, I think that's when. So after that, they
split up a little bit, right?
Yeah, the other group of guys.
Swan, yeah. Like so part of the gang wants to go and hang out with some ladies.
Yeah, that's when they run into random women.
Other group of guys ran into other women.
Right.
Yeah, not Swan's group.
Which seems to be a recurring theme. Women fuck everything up for them in this in this movie.
Always bad news.
It's always bad news. Anytime you run it, just fucking go the other way, man. Go the other way.
So yeah,
Right.
these chicks fucking meet up, like this fucking start hanging out with them and take them back to their place. And at least one guy has the foresight to say, hey, with chicks like you, there's always guys around. And they're like, no, they're gone for the night. They went to this thing. And of course, they're like, oh, all right, cool.
They're the Lizzies, right? They're called the Lizzies.
Yeah,
the
he goes,
Lizzies.
what's your name? And he goes, we're the Lizzies. And they're like, whoa, okay. And so yeah, these guys are starting, kind of starting to hook up with these chicks. With the tagger guy, who I think isn't into chicks. Kind of get that impression by the
Yeah,
movie.
the younger kid.
Yeah, he's like looking around, he's the only one kind of seems like, hey, this is something's fucking ain't right here.
Well, they used one of the kids as a lookout to stay by the subway thing.
Yeah, but
Like in case the other dudes showed up or they thought.
but he's like, hey, we need to get going, and
Yeah.
they're all like, fuck that, we're having a good time,
He's the only one that's not thinking with his dick, basically.
Yeah, that's the only reason that he's not in that action.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, the dude's making out with the chick. Doesn't she pop the switchblade on him?
Oh yeah, and then one
Yeah.
of the best lines in the whole movie: "The chicks are packed. The chicks are packed."
And so these chicks are trying to fucking cut them with knives, and well, remember too, they gave the worst fucking chick with worst shooter in the group the gun, because she's just randomly shooting everywhere but not hitting them.
But not hitting anybody.
Yeah, the waiters are punching chicks and breaking chairs on them. They would never put that in the movie now. No way. But they managed to get away, unscathed by it all. And remember the girls, they look at the chick with the gun like, what the fuck, man?
We had him. We had him.
Yeah, we had him. She's like, fucking just randomly shooting everything but a warrior. So, yeah. So they get away. That's their little fucking adventure. And what happens now? Is this where Swan meets back up with them?
He's like go off with like having like a romantic adventure, like
with Marcy.
On the
that's right. He
on
runs
the
back
railroad
in.
tracks. She's like, I'm a hoe, and he's like, no, I don't want a hoe.
She's like begging him for it and shit. He's like, nah.
It's weird though, because the way those tracks are set up too, like when we would go to the PATH trains, and I never walked around in the subway things, but if you went to the PATH trains, if you went all the way in the back, there was this little stairway, and you can go down and kind of like walk on the side of the tracks, kind of. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like, we didn't go down there. I never went down there personally.
Well, wasn't that prior to that they got broken up again by cops again? That's what happened.
I think so.
Yeah. They got that's why he ended up running with her through the fucking actual tunnel of the fucking subway.
Inside the subway.
Yeah.
Trains are coming.
Going back to that, there's going back to the part where the Ajax gets cop gets arrested by the cops or whatever. The way the cops fucking roll into the scene, like they fucking are hauling ass. I mean, is that a street? Or are they in a park? Or where they at? Because that fucking cop car just fucking slides in like it's sliding.
Yes,
it's on a trail.
A fucking park, like in a public park.
Yeah, and the dude's just fucking hauling ass, like
emergency brake fly.
Yeah, dude. I just remembered that part's fucking great.
That
was like the big stunt of the fucking show too.
Pretty much, yeah.
The whole movie, it has like this post-apocalyptic thing going on now, right? Like it feels like a weird vibe, and it makes your heart race just like a little bit, because like you kind of feel you get caught up in like the chase, and you were like wondering like, well, what the fuck's next?
Yeah, it brings you into the movie. I mean, it's
those are like the best kind of movies when there's a constant chase going on, even though it's not like they're always running, but always that fear of someone's gonna fucking show up and catch them. Like that makes
these guys,
movies,
like fucking The Running Man. That motherfucker. Well, we're not talking about that movie, but that movie fucking hits like that, where it's like fucking intense and suspenseful. You never know
what's gonna fucking happen next, man.
Yeah.
So
walk down the middle of the street with our gang and our red leather jackets.
see what
A
happens.
vest. Sorry.
Outrunning fucking motor vehicles and shit.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that too. I was like, man, I would have to do some major training to become a warrior because the cardio that these guys have.
They're all fit. They're all fit.
Dude, they were running down fucking subway stairs, fucking
jumping shit.
I'd be fucking. Now, forget about it. Fucking
nowadays for me.
yeah. Fucking here, cuss me, motherfucker.
The turnball ACs would have got me right off the bat. Nowadays, I would have been toast because no way I could have run.
We were when I was younger. I remember fucking having all the energy. Like, I would never. Like
fucking batteries keep going.
Like down the Black Ridge, right where we'd be hanging out. The fire cops show up. God, all the girls with me.
Yeah, fucking sliding a keg down a rail.
Yeah.
Which was like the railroad tracks, and we were just both like two people would just grab each side and real fast.
Nice.
And the cops would be with the flashlight. Where the fuck are they? Then they get scared because it's so dark down there.
Yeah. The cops would get scared, and
they're like, "Fuck that."
Beer back, light the fire again, and
we would like lay on the side of the hill. You know what I mean? And just like we would hear them above there. And then we would hear them like, oh, maybe they would bust like some drunk kid. He's like, I'm Weimer. You know? And they're like taking the kid away.
We would start off with like all this beer and booze, and like every time the cops would come, the crowd would get thinned out. So like 8 of us left with like cases of beer and like, fuck, the pussies left.
Nice. So okay. So yeah, him and Marcy almost like, I guess, fucking go all the way. Then he's like, chicks like you, Friday, Saturday night, you don't even know who you fucking were with and all that. And it kind of doesn't happen, and so whatever.
Yeah, it gets a little deep.
Yeah, it gets a little deep. I don't even remember all that shit. I just remember the subway train going by them, and next scene, they kind of go separate ways, right? Again. I remember that because
because they meet up again whenever they see the guy on roller skates.
Yeah, because he's walking in the roller skate gang is behind Swan, and he's by himself now, and but he's acting like he doesn't see them, but he knows they're there, and she shows up again, and she's like, you're being followed. Look over there, and he goes, now they know I'm being followed. Like she fucked him up, so. But then
there you go, women fucking things up.
Yeah, fucking them up again. So, but he gets fucking some luck right here because remember he looks and he sees on like the roller skate. Yeah, the warriors are coming down the stairs, but the other gang can't see that part.
Right.
Yeah. And he kind of like gives the old fucking eye look into the restroom, so the other warriors sneak in there. And Swan goes in there. Remember, she goes, I can't go in there. That's a men's room. And they're like, shut the fuck up. And
All of a sudden, she's
classy. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was. What was that show she used to come out on in the 80s? Because, god damn it, not Three's Company, but Three's a Crowd or fucking. Yeah, some shit with Ted Knight, man. She was on that fucking show.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Too Close for Comfort.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that.
Fucking brain works every once in a while, man. Yeah, she plays a completely different person in that shit. Anyway, so these guys don't know that the Warriors are got their full fucking group back in the restroom. So the roller skate gang comes in. Remember the guys skating in. I know, dude. Fighting with roller skates on does not make sense.
Well, he was the only one that had him on, though, right? The one guy, I think he's the only one that has him on. Yeah.
So,
but they were dressed like plumbers to me, which I
with the overalls and shit. The overall gang.
And what's funny is they ended up. I was like, they had to have done this on purpose. They're dressed like plumbers, and they end up fighting it in the fucking toilet in the bathroom.
They should have had an advantage.
Exactly. It's perfect. It's like. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah, that was hilarious too.
So he's like skating by each stall, looking under him, and there's no feet. So he's trying to find the one where there's that. And he gets to the last one, and I guess he opens the door, and the kid with the Taggart
Spray paint?
guy.
Yeah, the Taggart.
Sprays them in the face, and then all the doors fly open, and another beat your ass rumble.
Brawl, yeah.
Yeah, and they got some good stuff going on here, and of course the music too makes it awesome again.
Yeah,
fucking
yeah, music was awesome in this movie.
I mean, you got guys getting thrown in the mirrors, you know, getting doors busted through, just all type of good stuff going on.
Yeah.
And of course, after the fight happens, of course, the Warriors, you know, win the fight. So, what hell happens next? They hop on their subway, right? And they're going home finally to Coney Island. And then that fucking scene with the prom kids, they come into the subway.
Yeah.
I guess they had a good night, you know, at prom, laughing and giggling and all that. They're not aware of what's going, you know, who's sitting there. They sit down fucking right across from the Warriors, looking like hell.
Yeah, because they pan down to their feet. What's her name?
Feet or
Yeah,
feet.
their things all dirty and
yeah.
What doesn't she try like to fix her hair or something to look better? And Swan's like, no, don't do that for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then in Subway, the prom kids are like, maybe we'll take another train, and they fucking hop off real quick.
Yeah.
And he drops the what the fuck, the flower thing, whatever that's called. Remember, Swan gives it to her outside of the train. He's like, you know, here, and she goes, "What's this for?" And he goes, "I just hate seeing things go to waste." And she's like, "Okay." You know, he takes it, yeah. And then these guys hear the fucking the car, the rogues, and they're like, you know, we got to deal with these fucking guys now. So there's that sort of classic thing with the beer bottle.
Yeah.
Cling,
Starting to turn daytime too, right? Yeah.
It's morning. Yeah.
And then they go underneath the Coney Island Pier, which you can't do anymore.
Yeah, and they start breaking boards to get some weapons. Yeah, I remember that.
What does he say? He has the bottles, and he's like,
"Warriors come out to play." And it just gets worse and worse and worse. Yeah,
he's got like 4 nips. Budweiser.
Cling, cling, cling. Yeah, I mean,
it is ingenious though. That is fucking ingenious.
I heard that.
I mean, that's like.
I heard
that's
he came
the
up with
scene
that
everybody
on the
remembers
spot too. It wasn't even planned. The actor just fucking started doing it, and it was like perfect. So
yeah. And then the guy's gonna take care of it. So he's like, instead of pulling out a gun, he's like, just a switchblade. He's like, I'll take care of it. One switchblade.
So they know they're going to confront him on the beach, right? So they're waiting for him, and that fucking nutty guy from the Rogues, you know, starts talking with Swan, and is like, I didn't fucking remember, but they all know pretty much, like, hey, you were the fucking guys who framed us, you know, fuck you. Yeah. I remember the bad guy finally is just he pulls out his gun to shoot him, and he kind of confessed everything. He goes, "Why'd you do it?" "I just like to do things like that." So he's blabbing it off. Yeah. Go ahead, Francis.
Well, there's a scene before that where they bring that one guy that's like, "Hey, we found a guy that saw what happened." Which the whole time I was like, there was fucking thousands of people there, and only one fucking guy saw who shot him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, they say, "Hey, we found this guy's. He wants to talk to you because he said he saw."
Yeah,
he saw what happened
at the Rift's headquarters. Yeah, that goes down.
Yeah, so they kind of already knew. That's why they ended up at the at the beach.
He tries to shoot Swan, but Swan does a dirty dodge with the switchblade, throws it, hits the guy's arm, and, you know, fucks him up. He has the knife stuck in his arm now.
Yeah,
and he's like, ah, and then that's right when you hear the riffs, and he fucking confessed. I don't know how they didn't notice all these riffs standing at the top of the pier, but they're there now with Sykes and it looks like axes, swords, where the fuck they got all type of weapons.
Yeah.
And they, you know, fucking come down and tell the Warriors, you know, or no, you still looking for us? And he goes, no, we found what we're looking for. To the Rogue guy. And that's when he goes, you Warriors are good. And fucking, of course, Swan, the best.
We're the best. Yeah.
So they kind of make a little way for the Warriors to walk out of the way, and they do their thing. Then the next scene, you just see all the riffs closing in on the Rogues, and that guy doing that great scream, scream, scream,
Squeeze.
rah, yeah, and he does that scream, and that's pretty much the end of the Rogues, their history. And then
Hell
you
yeah.
cut right, and doesn't it cut to the DJ again, basically saying like, "Sorry about that, Warriors."
Yeah, oops. Yeah, yeah.
Probably like doing it,
we were
"Oops."
given some bad information or some shit like that, she says.
Yeah.
And now it looks like everybody's gonna go off into the sunset and start a new life. Swan and Marcy are holding hands now, and the Joe Wash song kicks in, and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, Joe Walsh, that's right.
The gangs were like multiracial, which I thought was cool because like,
yeah, they were.
Yeah,
and it's weird though. You had the guy who's a Swan, and he's like a white guy. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
and at the same time, like all like the other people that are in like the Warriors gang, like they were from like
It's
all
all
different races mostly. You know?
And you
Yeah.
caught that too in some other gangs too. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, I mean, some gangs were all one, white
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
or black guys. I thought it was funny that they made the Rogues all white guys, like
Yeah.
they're they're the fuck ups,
villains.
But
Well, the skins were like
they were
a bunch
mixed.
of black dudes too.
yeah, the skinheads were mixed. Like I said earlier, that's the only gang I'd be like, nah, I don't want to fucking them guys jumping me. They look like they
were
beat.
maniacs.
Yeah, they look like they beat the shit
They
out of
really
you.
destroyed the Warriors.
Yeah, they're the only ones that actually look
They
tough.
would fucking
Yeah.
them up. The movie
Dude,
would have ended right there. I think if they got a hold of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would have been the end of. That's why they were running for their lives from those guys. They knew.
Yeah, they just had a shitty car that wouldn't go, that went fucking super slow. Yeah, it wasn't fast enough.
I gotta say something, man. This is like what I've been thinking about with the Warriors. Like, I was like probably like 10 or 11 years old or something, and like they were showing the Warriors for the first time on like HBO or something, and they had never or TV or regular television or something, so they had never actually. They showed it in the movie theater in like '79 maybe. But basically, when I was like 10 years old or 9 years old, or I don't even remember, I was very young. I was like 4th grade or something. They were going to show the Warriors on TV, and it was going to be at 9 o'clock at night on a Friday night. And I was at this place called PBC, which was like a kids club where you went and played like video games, bowling, and like volleyball.
Like a youth center kind of.
Like a youth center place.
Yeah, like a thing for kids to like hang out.
So I was with a bunch of other kids, right? This kid like Donald Texera and like a bunch of like his older brother and all these kids. And we all we had to run. Like we left, like this was rare. We left PBC early because it closed at 9. And at 9, it was always like the best time because it was like, damn, I could stay out past 9 o'clock a little bit, because I'm in 4th grade,
Yeah.
So literally, we fucking ran home to watch this shit.
Yeah.
And I remember just fucking running from PBC, which was like half the fucking length of the town, to go home to watch the Warriors. Yeah,
wow.
man, it was so important at the time,
I actually got lucky, Mom. My parents would love to go to the movies, so I got to see it in the theaters when I was a kid. But we did see it like on the Friday night it premiered, and it was here in San Antonio. It's called the Mayan now, but it was the Century South, and it was a theater on our south side of town, which is not the best side of town. So it was a rowdy experience, and I was like, well, if it's 70, I was like 9, 9 years old or so. I remember all these crazies in there and everybody yelling and screaming and all type of shit. My parents were like, it was a wild experience, smoking weed. Yeah, you could sit smoking weed in there and all this stuff going on. And anyway, the next day I was like, well, I'm going to be a member of the Warriors. That's how I had it in my head.
Yeah, I can imagine that. A lot of people that saw it when it came out, it was like, it was like cool. They kind of portrayed them as being cool in the movie.
Oh yeah, it was. They were definitely cool.
Yeah, me and my friends that were running, we thought we were the fucking Warriors, man.
Yeah, I even tagged the side of my house. WR. My dad. Oh, fuck.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, I thought I was all cool till he fucking got wind of it and fucking knocked me on the back of the head. But yeah, man,
Yeah,
that movie
yeah.
is great.
So you put
Especially-
on the vest that had no front, and then you're like, "Damn, this thing don't fit right. It's red."
Close.
That's funny.
So yeah, that's the end of the movie. You know what? I did want to show this because you guys. Let's go ahead and go through and talk about what you guys are up to, because this
Oh yeah,
Cool.
needs
Got
to be
mine.
promoted on here. Yeah.
I got mine. I got mine here too.
Hey, all right.
What are we showing here, guys? What is this?
New Disma.
New Disma release through Necroharmonic Records.
Yeah, man. Cool.
That is if
Heavy
you didn't read a
shit.
thing, that's Bill's band and it's fantastic.
Fucking heavy shit.
Thank you.
Make an impact, Bill.
Yeah,
And Roy,
shirts.
Roy, oh yeah, go ahead, plug it, man. Say
Yeah,
what you need to say.
shirts coming out soon. It should be here tomorrow, actually. So
Badass.
And I'll
upload.
probably have this up tomorrow, so that'll be perfect.
Nice.
And
And
cassettes are in the making too.
So what do you have out on it right now? Just CD?
Just CD at the time, yeah.
Okay. And are you doing vinyl as well?
Yeah, there'll be a vinyl press too.
Yeah, I know how the vinyl
Colors and
Oh.
I don't want to. The thing is, like with the whole like I all these like record labels with their pre-orders. I mean, they're like it's almost like a ridiculous amount of pre-order things I see out there for records. So I'm not super into taking like because vinyl pressing takes so long.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna sit there and hold someone's money for fucking 8 months or 6 months or some shit. You know what I mean? I think that's
Yeah,
wrong.
that's-
I think that's wrong. You know?
You never know what's going to happen, you know. So.
That's yeah. And then on top of that, you you know, like you have to wait all that time, and then like the fans get like impatient about things, and like it just some reason it's just the thing is like I went around too, and like this was even a couple years ago to other like record labels like I don't want to name any names. I was about to, but I noticed they had more fucking pre-order shit up than they did actual fucking releases. So I think that's bullshit.
Yeah, that's a little suspect to be doing.
Yeah,
that.
that's bullshit. You know, it's just like you're trying to use this to pay for the fucking other
The
band.
record, for the process.
Yeah, fuck that, you know, like
Yeah.
I'm not. It's one thing if you know the thing is like literally like right on the fucking doorstep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a different if like you are like you running your whole entire business off fucking like 27 fucking bands with 16 different combos of pre-orders.
Yeah, that's
If you look around in the underground, well, so-called underground, that's what you see a lot of in record labels, and I think I'm against that basically. So I don't know.
so basically you'll say it's available when it's ready to be sold.
I mean, yeah, I feel like I
Right,
should,
was.
or at least close to like,
Yeah.
like within 2 weeks or something, not fucking like,
6
5 months,
8
6 months, 8 months pre-order. Who is even gonna remember that when it shows up? And they're like, oh shit, I ordered.
yeah,
My order it twice. It's been so long.
yeah, and just I don't know, it just seems weird.
Okay,
You guys pre-order anything?
Nah.
I think I have once or twice, but not
I
not
have
now. Yeah,
It's
I'm
not, and I wasn't worried about the weight at all. So it's not. I'm not doing it because of that. Like I wasn't worried about the weights of the pre-orders, but some of the fans do. And I'm just doing it more on the principle of the other. Like I just see too many fucking pre-orders, man. I'm like, fuck that, dude.
And Francisco, you got anything going on you want to talk about?
Yeah, actually, well, again, get that Disma CD, man. It
I'll put
fucking
links in the
rules.
video too in the description to get this stuff.
Yeah, highly
is good.
recommended. Highly recommended. Actually, yeah, on the show, if you're putting this up tomorrow, this Wednesday, I just announced it earlier. I'm gonna have Chris Gamble on, and we're gonna talk about the new Bloodstorm album,
That album.
which
that
has
too.
has something in common with the Disma, is that Jim Rowe recorded this one too, which he recorded the Disma EP as well, which
Oh, they both
these-
sound fucking killer.
they both sound fucking amazing. So I'm like, dude, Jim needs, I don't know if that's what he wants to do, but people need to hit Jim Rowe up for fucking recording shit, dude, because this sounds great and that Disma sounds fucking great. So
Yeah.
So Chris will be on with me Wednesday.
And Jim plays on the Bloodstorm too.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a damn good album, dude. I really like this album. But yeah, Chris will be on here. So
Chris is always awesome. I just
probably the tightest Bloodstorm album.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It sounds great. Cool riffs. Chris, like, he's not like his vocals are like a wide range of different vocal styles he uses on this one too.
Yeah,
which I think is cool.
Thrash metal scream in there.
Yeah, dude. Riffs there's
even
like a punky. There's track number 4, The Separation.
Yeah, Separation.
Total punk rock, dude. It's like wow, Chris is all over the place on this one, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
solid thrash.
Yeah, dude, and then new project, the ETD stuff. If you're into like, old like First Carcass, old Repulsion, Terrorizer, old Napalm, shit like that. We're gonna start recording that next month, I think. So that's pretty much the only thing I got going on other than the show, which I started doing more shows because there's a lot of cool albums that have been coming out, like these two. So I want to talk about those albums. The Church of Disgust one is good too. The new Molder, which I already had on. But anyway, that's it.
All right. Well, that's it, man. I think we'll wrap it up here. Fucking great video. Thanks to everyone for taking the time and putting up with my shit and my internet earlier. That sucked. But appreciate you guys coming on, waiting around, man.
Can you dig?